I've always had an enormous amount of curiosity. And I've also been averse to pain and discomforts, but my curiosity has been stronger than my aversion. So that's been the leader.
And that's what it takes,
Curiosity
right?
is the leader for me. Yeah.
That's the thing.
Well, and this is where I can geek out on mythology and things, which that's the herald. It's that point in the fairy tale where the frog, kind of beckons you into the forest or into the deeper waters. And one of the things that we've lost sight of in our modern Western kind of shared imagery is we've lost some of those gods, goddesses, and fairy tales that hold what we're talking about, which is that beautiful paradoxical complexity of life. And so that's where I get excited, because it's like, in our modern world, we want the invitation in the herald to be the shiny thing, and then we want it to get exponentially shinier and better from there. And then that's confirmation that we've made the right choice. And these kinds of journeys that we're talking about, these depth, curious, I'm afraid of it, but I'm going anyway, that's the hero's journey. That's where the herald is the snake or the frog or the fault or the blunder or the icky or the part of your body that you hate, or the trauma. By the way, trauma can be a beckoning. It's horrible. It can be devastating and horrific. And it can also be one of those dark, disgusting characters that invites you into a deeper way of being. So I get so excited because that's the frog, right? And in those fairy tales, when we really slow down, it's like we know, it's not in avoiding the frog. It's not in conquering the frog. It's not in slaying the frog. It's not in running away from the frog. It's in kissing the frog. Right. So there's that fear, there's that disgusting, there's that accident, there's that awful thing. And man, if we can bring it close and welcome and be with it, then the next unimaginable thing, magical thing.
Because her dissertation was titled The Necessity of Madness. And the necessity of madness is the offering, right? The madness is the offering to consciousness and expansion and intimacy. At least, that's my interpretation, but the madness can take any form, right? Fear, eating disorder, whatever it might be.
Violence, chaos.
Yeah. But our mantras, when we would help people, is, the mantra is welcome. What have you brought to teach me? And it can happen, like I'm primarily a couples therapist. If a couple comes in and they're starting, Angela and I are talking about probably encountering, we've done tremendous years of work and personal work and therapy and various things, but even if a couple that's just starting out and never spoken about their inner life or their interpersonal life together, if they come in and sit down on our couch and just say, I'm really afraid to be here, the journey to everything just started, because they put voice to an inner state of fear. And then we get to meet that fear with everything, starting with how do we make it feel safe? And then, so it's, I guess what I'm cautious of, if somebody's listening to this and they're afraid, oh my gosh, I can't, these guys are talking about things and ways of relating that are so far. It's like when I was learning to surf, my coach said, bigger waves, same principle, right? So if you're just starting, the same principle, it's like, I'm curious to be with my fear, and I invite it because I believe, based on people that I trust who've been there before, I believe there might just be something better for me if I look at this.
I like that.
That's
So on the other side of the fear.
And when I started surfing, my coach, I couldn't get out past the waves. So you're talking about bigger waves. I couldn't even get out. I couldn't leave the shore. And I said, do you have a tip? Like, what's the special tip? How do I do this? And this little 20-year-old, unbeknownst to himself, guru just looked at me and he's like, well, yeah, you just keep paddling.
Yeah.
So, similarly, right? You just keep paddling wherever you are. You just keep paddling and you keep going for it.
So many good metaphors. I really like this idea of the shadow, the frog in the relationship being an invitation. So if a fight is a frog, or a stagnation in a relationship, or any kind of relationship problem is a frog, then we know on the other side of this this frog, there is the potential for transformation. And then in laying out the ritual for the conversation about the frog, we're inviting in the possibility, the prospect even of transformation.